called Pax8, here to represent computer information systems for PTECH. If you guys remember, PTECH gives you a free associate's degree in one of 4 pathways: computer information systems, fire science, automotive, or EMT. They're here to represent CIS today, computer information systems. Also, do not forget that if you are interested in PTECH pathway, you must apply by December 1st. So 4 weeks from today, it's Wednesday, December 1st. The application is on the high school website. If you have questions, let me know. Hopefully. Oh, don't forget, please be polite, pay attention, no napping. These wonderful people came here today to spend the day with you guys and taking time out of their day for this, so please be polite and respectful.
Hello. Hello. How are you guys?
We got an honest one, awesome.
Is it working? Cool. Cool. Yay. So how are you guys? I think we can do better than that. I like honesty. That's great. Well, hi. We are from Pax8, a cloud technologies company based out of Colorado. My name's Rachel. I am the manager of DEI programs, and I'm going to be leading this panel of wonderful folks that have come to talk a little bit about our journeys into tech, and also just a little bit about how we really got to where we are today. So I will hand it over to Craig to talk to you a little bit more about what Pax8 does, and we'll go down the line and introduce ourselves and kick it off from there.
Awesome, thanks so much, Rachel. Everybody, I'm Craig Donovan, the Senior Vice President of Services at Paxade. Been with us for about 5 years, which isn't quite the beginning, but it's pretty close. I think we were 30 people when I started Halloween of 2016. We're over 1,000 and in 45 countries today. So Paxade seems like one of these sort of made-up ideas, and it may not necessarily click right away. But what we're really doing is stitching together this new cloud technology ecosystem. And anybody here familiar with the term cloud tech? Do we all know exactly what that is? I'm still figuring it out too, so that's okay. So here's the idea, right? Anytime technology is not running on your machine, it's cloud. Okay, so websites, anything running out there. And so what we've got is this really cool situation where these amazing vendors throughout the world, and we've got vendors in Israel, I've got vendors in Germany, in Ireland, as well as throughout the US, are creating this really awesome tech. And they want this tech to be delivered to everybody, including, Canyon City and the real estate agent, the dentist, and small business you have around here. The problem is Microsoft can't afford to talk to the dentist. They can't afford to support them, to sell them. They're just not big enough for the scale to work. And so this is where Paxade comes in. And we've created a technological platform supported by a bunch of amazing people that are connecting these global vendors with local IT professionals that live right here in your community, that then turn around and supporting the IT needs for dentists. That's a lot, and I don't expect necessarily all of it to sink in. Maybe I'm happy to field some questions here. But with that, maybe do we just want to start down the introductions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Since I'm holding the mic, maybe I'll get started here. So I'm Craig Donovan, and Senior Vice President of Services means I do a lot of different things. My job title has changed and functioned dramatically over the last 5 years. Today, I oversee an organization of about 200 or so engineers, reactive tech support engineers, product-centered project engineers, and ProServe, as well as our new educational academy. The other thing is, I'm not sure, is everybody here familiar with the Pax8 expansion in Fremont County? We've got an office we're building down in Florence in the old high school. Almost all of those roles flow up through my organization. Today I'm kind of on this business side, but my career was technology. I spent the first 20 years of my career writing software. Worked for a lot of different companies, probably wrote software in 12 different languages. Most recently I was in advertising, where I was writing one of a 2-person team that was deciding every commercial that you had to watch. So it's actually my fault when you have to see commercials when you stream video on demand. So if you're at home and you're dialing up your Real Housewives on Comcast, the signal goes from your machine to Comcast, which got sent over to me. I figured out what commercials you had to see, what was sold. I can't put Coke next to Pepsi. You never put Ford in the same ad with Chevy. No gun ads on kids shows. No booze before midnight. Things like that. And I had to make every one of those decisions in 250 milliseconds or less. 1,000 times a second, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So some really cool technological problems. But I think if I go a step back there, that's where a couple of my interesting facts come in here. I actually started, I suspect I'm the only person on this panel that grew up in a town smaller than all of you. So I grew up in Tibet, Colorado, a town of about 250 people in western Colorado, just outside of Grand Junction. So I definitely understand this sort of journey from communities like this through tech. From Tibet, I went to Western University in Grand Junction, where my second, maybe more interesting fact is, I didn't actually want to, I'm an accidental technologist. Never wanted to get into computers. I loved chemistry. That was my life's passion. I got a minor in it until a distinct and terrifying lack of grace into those dreams. Got through my OChem lab halfway through college, and after the third accident that required an emergency chemical shower, I had a professor that bribed me to drop it and change my major. So computers just seemed safe at that point in time. But before I get it off, I just would love to actually get a couple questions here to kind of help set this. Quick show of hands, who's considering a career in technology? Okay, I've got a handful. Awesome. For those that currently have your hand up, this is your invitation to Hogwarts. All right? Technologists, you guys are the wizards. You're going to create something every single day. What the world becomes in the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years will be decided by people in tech. But I'm going to pick on the people that didn't have your hands up yet. And I want to ask, because this is actually a more interesting question to me. Because I've asked this question a lot, and it seems that the no falls into one of two categories, and I just want to see if either of these two resonate. The first one is generally, I'm not into tech. I don't like it. I'm not into computer games. I don't like all this robotic stuff. I'm into fashion or agriculture or teaching or politics or something else. Does that resonate okay? Right? Cool. Or, I'm not one of those tech people, right? I'm not the gal building computers in my basement. I'm not, smart enough. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'm not sure if that one resonates with anybody. But let me just throw a couple observations out here. First of all, technology is actually just the tool. It's not the job, right? You use it in every single thing you do. As a software developer, I was in agriculture, I was in architecture, I was in marketing. Whatever your passion is, whatever you want to do, you're going to be able to do and do more of it with tech. So at least keep that door open for wherever your dreams are. If you want to make a difference in politics, if you want to teach, if you want to get in ag, there's a really awesome ag tech company in emerging using drones and robots to better harvest crops right now. And for those that maybe think that you're not ready for this, one more show of hands. Who here has a phone? iPhone, Android? Okay, that's what I thought. So that phone in your pocket is roughly 1,000 times more powerful than the computer I had when I started writing code. All right? You all are born into tech. It's in your DNA. You've had it from the time you were little. Wondering whether or not you can learn to do tech is like asking a fish if they can learn how to swim. All right? If you want to go this path, this is in front of absolutely everybody here.
Before we really hand it off, just show of hands for the panelists. Who here works within tech every day? And I mean tech support, coding. See, 2 out of, gosh, can I count? 4? 5? 5? Yeah, 5, thank you. 2 out of 5 of us are actually in a tech coding world. You can do, Miles and I are in a form of HR, Ashley's in a form of HR, Nick is in sales. We're able to really work within a tech company without having that coding degree. I can't code anything to save my life. I need help with, my little brother helps me with my phone sometimes. I am that age of millennial where I don't know what the heck is going on with technology. So it really, if you're like me and you don't see yourself in a tech company, like Craig said, really open your eyes to whatever you want to do. There's a space for you to do it within tech.
Yeah, the 1,000 people at Paxade, there's probably not more than 300 that are what you might classically think of as tech jobs. The other 700 that are deeply influenced by tech.
Does this one work? Hey, it does. Hi, my name's Justin. I actually graduated here back in '99, still have my kids, so I've kind of lived in Canyon City my whole life. I got into tech because it was something that I loved. I loved building computers when I was younger, back in the days when hard drives had megabytes as the max size instead of, you see your gigabytes and your terabytes. I did go the educational route. I got my college degree in criminology with a minor in psychology, and then recently, about a couple years ago, I got my master's in cybersecurity. And then, so I was trying to get my foot in the door for technology, and a lot of those places are just like what you think. Oh, it's an entry-level position. We require 10 years experience. So luckily, Paxate here, a wonderful company, gave me a chance, and now I am what's called a solutions engineer. So I work on more of the security side when it comes to software. I give very in-depth tech demos of pieces of software, and I actually help our partners, which would be our customers, how to deploy that particular piece of software. How does it affect and how does it work and what do they do when something goes wrong? So in my line of work, I'm actually an expert in about 4 to 5 different pieces of security software, from email security so that you don't get spam email, to the antivirus that's on your computer that prevents a virus from hitting your computer, to even future things where we're also talking about browser security and things like that. I actually become the expert in that field, and then I'm able to go to meetings, show off the software, or teach someone how to utilize that software. So while I'm in tech and I get to learn about all the cool things, especially in this emergency tech world, especially how laws and regulations affect how do everyone handle personal information. You've probably all heard of these acronyms: HIPAA, FERPA, FINRA. FERPA actually affects you guys because it relates to how your guys' personal information is stored and transferred between the different schools. And so a lot of our partners have to follow those regulations. And me, I kind of need to know just enough to go, yes, this piece of software satisfies this requirement so that you can become certified and be able to handle that kind of information. So just like everyone else, well, yes, I do handle tech. I'm not doing the coding. I'm not building the PC. I'm just teaching how the program works in the end. So.
Weird fact.
Oh, weird fact. I've been to 14 different countries, and I have met 2 U.S. presidents in my lifetime.
Which ones?
Which ones? I got to meet Bill Clinton when I was in Japan, and then I got to meet George, I think H. Bush, the younger one, when I was at San Diego.
Favorite food from your favorite country?
Favorite food? Oh, yakisoba from Japan, hands down, especially the shrimp yakisoba.
Good stuff. Nick, take away.
Hey guys, good morning. I'm Nick Swinimer. I am a cloud account manager at Pax8. Quick show of hands, who didn't raise their hand earlier thinking they would have a job in tech? Who's like, I don't know about tech? Show of hands. I would bet a lot of money, at least a quarter of you, probably a half of you, will end in a job in tech one day because like Rachel said earlier, we do so much outside of just coding and technical pieces. When I went to college, I majored in English and history because I thought that I wanted to go and get a law degree. And then I wanted to be done with school, so I moved out here and started skiing and worked at spas for like 5 years and did the ski bum life. And then I had to get a real job, and I realized tech was a great option. And maybe like many of you guys, I originally didn't consider it because I didn't consider myself very technically savvy. And I'm here to tell you that you learn along the way, you pick it up as you go. And like Craig was saying earlier, you were all born really in the cloud. Pax8, one of our taglines is that we were born in the cloud. We were founded in 2012 when cloud was just emerging. You guys are all the same. Since you can remember, you've been using cloud applications and probably didn't even know it. This is a great opportunity for you, and it's not something that has to be aspired to in terms of I have to go get a 4-year degree and I have to do this and I have to check all these boxes. We have people who start with Pax8 right out of high school, right at 18. And this is a really viable option for you guys. If it's something you hadn't considered, I would implore you to reconsider and maybe picture yourself in a tech role. Because like we mentioned earlier, most of the people who, I mean, I wrote one line of code in college. I wrote Hello World. It was a WordPress website, and it said Hello World, and I actually just went and visited it recently, and it still says Hello World. But I couldn't code my way out of a paper bag. There's not much technically I could do, and so I would say to you, if I can do it, you can do it. And my weird fact is I did a cattle drive once in Canada in the middle of January. It was like 15 degrees below zero, I think was the warmest it got. And that was the coolest experience of my life.
Nick, going back to what you were saying with coding, this is really, really going to date me even more. The most coding I did was designing my MySpace profile.
Yes.
How many of you know what MySpace is? Okay, so we're good. You guys are old enough. Yeah, so I definitely think that coding is not, it's not what it once was, where you think coding and you think this is what all of tech is. I think that you laid it out perfectly, that it's really accessible for anyone. And you also brought up a good point too, of you came from an English and history degree. I came from marketing and psychology. I also, it took me about almost 6 years to graduate with my first degree, and there's a number of folks within Pax8 that don't even have the 4-year degree, don't even have the 2-year degree. I mean, panelists, would you consider yourself having a traditional college experience?
No.
I did, but very late in life. Like, I didn't get my first degree until I was like almost 32. Okay, so I did stumble through the world doing different things. I did serve in the military when I was right out of high school, and then I did different jobs all over the place. And it wasn't until that, like, oh, you served in the military? Here's free college, and they actually meant it this time. So that's how I got my college degree.
Right. And I think your teachers would probably run me off the stage if I said college was not like something we should all strive for. College absolutely is. But it's also, there are different ways of getting college than what there were when we were trying to go and pursue higher education. And it's just the way that Pax8 has, and I think the way that most tech companies have really started teeing up their business now, is making it way more accessible for you to learn by doing. And you could be in school while working at Pax8. You could be striving to get certificates that might be different than a traditional college bachelor's degree. So it's just, really tech, you don't have to go and pursue a straight up computer science degree. I mean, if you're sitting here and let's say you're still thinking, I don't really want to pursue tech when you're applying for the PTECH class in December, it's really never too late to change your mind and get into it. So I think really everyone on this panel has shown that it's not too late to pivot.
Yeah, Rachel, I was texting with friends last night telling them I was coming here today to talk to you guys about jobs in tech. And one of my friends said, it's funny because you don't have a job in tech. He said, he's like, you just do sales. I said, that's honestly the point of it, because when I was in high school, when I was your guys' age, the mindset was, I can go and learn how to code and do all these really difficult technical things, and if I do that, I can work in tech. Otherwise, I'll just get some job doing something else. That might still be the mindset that you guys have, but I'm here to tell you that it doesn't need to be. It's completely different now. So. The tech guys can work tech.
Hello, everybody. My name is Miles. Last name Piggies, like 3 little piggies. Go ahead and giggle, it's fine. Yeah, I went through every high school, every college class and got that. So, but I am a talent acquisition partner with us here at Pax8. I've been here for 9 months now, but I've been in talent acquisition for probably 7 years. Funny thing about it, I mirror all their thoughts. Talent acquisition is not something you go to school for. I haven't seen a major for it. I haven't seen anybody actually come out and say, I want to be a recruiter. It's just something that most times 8 out of 10 people who are doing it backed into it. So, but to kind of mirror these people's thoughts and kind of solidify that is, I'm the person that calls you when you put your resume in. I've looked at your resume. I see that you check some of the boxes. I'm gonna call you and have a conversation with you. Now, going off of that tech, the idea of tech, my biggest thing is look at the opportunities. There are so many opportunities out there. Pax8, yes, is tech, but that's just the name of the company. We need, salespeople just as much as we need productivity people, just as much as we need people in just the people org side of things. So it takes a lot of cogs in the wheel to make it run the way it does. And then people like me are reaching out, trying to figure out if you are a good representative and you would be a good person for the team. So if my story tells you anything, I started in a broker trainee program. So I did my master's in higher ed, student affairs. I did my undergrad in entrepreneurship. Some of y'all want to own your own business. Someday, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to own my own business. I wanted to help kids in the community and come with the idea in that way. That dream is still there, but I needed something that would pay the bills now. You have to have a lot of income to make sure that happens. So that one's kind of on hold, but I initially started as a broker trainee. Who all knows about stocks? Okay. So I came out wanting to be in stocks and trading, buying, selling stocks. Didn't pass the Series 7, which is probably the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. Like I said, I have a master's degree and I failed that thing 3 times. So I was like, maybe this isn't for me. So my recruiter who recruited me for the company said, have you ever thought about recruiting? I'm like, I don't even know what that is, and I ended up backing into it. It's something I just had a natural knack for, and it's something that I truly am passionate about. I love meeting people. I love being able to see the potential. So when I look in this room, I see potential for all kinds of things, and the biggest thing is just being open, having an open mind, because you can easily look at something and say, well, I'm not good at that. I'll never be good at that. But you don't know that until you get there, until that day comes. So just use those talents that you have and play off of those. I think a lot of times that'll lead you in your purpose. That'll lead you in your goal in life. And I think a lot of times people say, well, this person's a programmer. That is who they are. I think there's a significant difference. Work is what you do, not who you are. It's an aspect of your life. And you want to get to do something where it's like, I love to come to work. I love to be able to work with these people and be able to talk to new people each and every day. So if there's anything out of my part of this is you have nothing but time ahead of you. You are in an exciting moment. Try everything, because you never know what you're going to be good at. And I look back and I think, I never would have imagined myself where I am now, just because of me looking at those opportunities. I had people telling me, just try it once. If you don't like it, you can go find something else to do. And it really has paid off for me. It's been exciting. But really being able to see young minds like yourselves, you are in tech fully. You're born into it. I remember when internet was not a thing. I remember going to class learning how to do Google searches. That is where I come from. So I came out saying, okay, I'll try tech. I tried it, didn't love it, but I have people like them to work on my computer when it's gone down. There's other things and other things out there. So my fun fact is I went to Oklahoma State University, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Everybody thinks it's a small country town, which it is, but I actually helped design the student union that now stands there. So everything from the Johnny Rockets burger that they have to the flooring, to the lighting, to the iPads in the wall, that was partly my idea. So that is a fun fact I like to give, but I will go ahead and hand it over to Ashley.
Hi everyone, thanks for having Pax8 here today to speak to you. My journey was a little different than everyone else's into technology. My family was deeply rooted in technology systems and Linux systems back from the day, and I learned very quickly to start adopting technology probably around the age of 8 or 9. My first experience with that was my mom had one of the first commercial Xerox machines, and she also had 700 employees, and so I thought it would be really cool if I could make a copy of a Bluebird and sell it for 25 cents to all the people in the factory, and I made $50 before somebody stopped me and made me color it. Having said that, I've been engrossed in technology for quite a bit, but that's really not what I'm here to talk to you about today. I took the traditional route in college. I got, my master's degree in accounting, and I understood computer systems very intuitively. And one of the things that I think is really important about working in technology is understanding that it's a language and it's a platform. And through technology as a conduit, you can learn how to talk to people. You can learn how to tell stories with color. You can learn how to make moving movies. You can learn how to edit that picture that just needed that final touch. And you can rewrite what you thought was capable, and if you change your mind, you can start over. And that's what's the beauty of technology is it's an open umbrella to really just kind of experiment. And much like everybody's saying here, you don't need to have a PhD in statistical analysis to be able to do this. And you also don't need to have a history in software engineering or programming. You learn as you go here. And I can't think of a better time in our country to think of a time that we need to maintain learning. And if I could leave you with one thought today, it would be, keep your minds open. You are already over the hump that some of our generations had to cross, and learning to live with computers and learning to implement systems. And as you grow up and you start to have that first job and that second job and that third job, you're gonna learn that there are constants, and the constant is technology. So fostering a passion for it now is a way to help you progress for your future, because technology is the future. Then lastly, I just wanted to tell you what I do for Paxade. I'm the Rural Empowerment Manager, so I am in charge of bringing programs to rural Colorado, programs such as these, and also hiring in rural locations for technology jobs. And that's all I have. I'll give it to Rachel.
Wonderful. Well, my fun fact is part-time before I joined Pax8, I was actually a yoga teacher. So we're gonna do a little exercise to get the juices flowing. Everybody stand up. I'm not kidding, stand up. Lift your arms up to the sky. Come on, we're gonna be silly. Just flow back. Deep stretch, come on. I know some of you got out of bed like 45 minutes ago. Let's do that. Nice stretch. Maybe do some swim arms if you want. All right. All right, we feeling energized? Blood's flowing, we're awake?
Oh yeah.
All right. Woo! Grab some chair.
Do you play football? Did Molly play football back in the day?
All right, you guys are lucky. You're gonna miss. We're gonna have Miles do the break next time. Everyone's gonna be doing football runs, running laps around the
And throw
auditorium.
out my whole body.
Yep.
Bench.
Miles, you have a question?
What was the question?
How much you bench?
Right now, so in high school, I did 320, which was a record. At the time, I could probably, if I tried, I'd probably do about 375 now. Probably, maybe close to 400.
No big deal. No big deal. So, yeah. Love it. Well, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the work that you do for Paxate and really the value that you've seen just technology really starting to come up in rural parts of Colorado. Craig could probably Craig and Justin can probably talk more about this as well, really kind of being in these areas firsthand and seeing the impact that technology can really bring up here.
Sure, so I'll be kind of quick. I'm very proud of this program. It's called the Rural Empowerment Program, and it was built around meeting people exactly where they are. And it was built to meet people geographically diverse, and also to bring knowledge worker and tech worker jobs to rural communities, but also represent rural communities in the tech industry and scale that way. And as such, Craig has been probably one of the biggest supporters of our program, just with his reach and his programmality, and we're very proud to have Justin on our team as well, on the security team. So I'll hand it to both of you.
Awesome, thanks so much, Ashley. Yeah, this is actually something that's really, really important to Pax8, to me personally as well. Where I spoke a little bit about my own journey, and I had to leave Quebec, and then I had to leave Quebec to go to Grand Junction, which was the closest school, but I even had to leave Grand Junction, which is actually bigger than Canyon, because there were no tech jobs in Grand Junction at that point in time. And so I moved over to Denver, where I've now built a life, and that's terrific. But you know, I'm not sure if any of you have felt this, or maybe your parents have felt this, where this need to have to leave home, the place you've got roots, where you've got family, just because you're looking for a particular kind of work. That force is specifically one of the things that Pax8 is actively trying to resolve right now. One of the things we learned through the COVID pandemic is that we can make this thing work remotely. We can work from anywhere. And so what we're trying to build here is this really cool hybrid place. We're gonna not only allow people to work wherever they want, but we're building a really awesome office down in Florence. That'll be a cultural hub for Fremont County, and a place to develop your tech careers. You know, I'll be honest, when I first heard about this program, even coming from rural Colorado, I was somewhat skeptical that we could make it work. And I remember putting a hard cap on 4 employees, and that was all that we were gonna hire for a year. This was just something I was gonna pin off on the side. Within 3 months, we had 10. And I think we're up to 24 today, about a year later. It's working. There's a lot of really smart, really passionate people, just like yourself, everywhere. And we want to, as Ashley mentioned, we want to meet you where you're at. We want to provide you opportunities to build careers in jobs that you may not have thought about yet. You know, a lot of the stuff we do at Pax8, I would have thought were kind of made up jobs when I was 18, when I was 15. I didn't know that these jobs existed. But they're really, really rewarding, great pay, great benefits, and a really awesome opportunity for you to develop and learn and move into new roles. I'm not sure if you guys have been able to take a tour of the emerging campus. This might be something we should think about coordinating as a field trip over there, so you can see the Pax8 office as we start getting that thing built out. And Justin is actually maybe not employee number 1 Fremont, but you're pretty close, maybe 2, 3.
Yeah, so I think the day that I showed up, there's only 2 people in the Rural Empowerment Program. There was Nathan, he does provisioning, so he's like assigns the licenses for software, and then there was Ashley, that was it. So on my day 1, there was 2 of us. I think that started that day. It was me and Teresa. She's an actual programmer / developer here at Pax8. So yeah, when we started, it was literally just 4 of us in this little office, and then it exploded. I think DJ was the next one to join us. I think it was like a week later, give or take, and things like that. So as you can see, you know, our program has expanded very well. I think we got people in Grand Junction, we've got people in Sterling. You know, I think one of the few things that actually have shown due to the pandemic is remote work is not only possible, it's almost a better model, because you know, now there's actual studies about remote work, about how a lot of us were actually just as productive or even more productive because we're at home. We're removing that hour drive to get to work. I used to commute to the northern part of Springs every day for one of my previous jobs, 65 miles one way. You know, that's 2 hours of my day gone every day. You know, not to mention the amount of gas money and wear and tear on my car. So what Pax8 has done is not only have they seen, like, you know, everyone had a rush to go work from home because of the pandemic, but now they're showing, oh, we can keep going this route, as a matter of fact. So that's what a lot of things are going towards, and that's where you see a lot of people who started the work from home and started remote work, it's like, I don't want to go back in the office because that's just more waste of my time, you know, and things like that, and I'm just as productive, why can't I just stay home? And that's one of the good things about Pax8 is they're actually one of the, you know, forerunners of this whole work from home hybrid style of systems where if you want to come to work, sure, we got a desk space for you. You know, bring in your laptop, we've got the keyboard, the mouse, the monitors, you plug it in, you do your job for the day, you go home, and then you work from home for the rest of the week. You know, you can come into work 1 day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, whatever's comfortable for you. Like some of us here at the Rural Empowerment Group, we kind of buck the trend to where we actually want to go in the office because we want that social interaction. You know, a few as we can attest, like I said, I work more efficiently at home. It's just the way it is, you know, because then if I got a 20-minute break, I'm at home, I can get a drink of water, let my dogs out, you know, still be productive and things like that. Versus if I'm at the office and I've got an hour break because I don't have a call set, then what am I doing? I'm surfing YouTube trying to find a video to watch, you know, and I'm bored out of my mind because I'm still 20 minutes away from my house. You know, so when it comes to that, you know, technology is what's really good about that is the fact that it's going to give you guys the ability to go, I've got a nice, high-paying, great career job. I don't have to live in Denver where the traffic is gnarly.
And I think that's a great point, Justin. And for me, I'm hiring people. When we were growing up, the world seemed so massive. It was so big, you know, even if somebody lived in, you know, out here, and I grew up in Denver, it seemed like you all were a world away from us. At this point, especially with our, you know, rural initiative, and we're hiring people all over, you know, the United States and the world at this point. And the biggest thing is, we're gonna go where the talent is. There is definite talent here. Everybody in this room has ability, has, you know, just the ability to be great. We're gonna come find you as long as you make yourself visible. And that's the biggest thing is, we have that kind of culture where it was easy for us to pivot into a more remote situation. But if you have that passion, if you have something you wanna do, there's no, accessibility is no question. It used to be a question for us. Well, I don't live in Virginia, so I can't work in this government job. You know, that's no longer the case anymore. And finding great talent anywhere, that's my job. And we're just excited to be here to show you all that because your time is coming quicker than you think, so.
Yeah, no, sorry. One thing I wanted to add, is everyone in the same grade here? Yeah? All freshmen? So you guys are looking at us like, dude, I'm 14, 15, I'm trying to get my learner's permit, like, why are you making me think about a job? We're not trying to put the North Star in your sky and say, tech is the only thing you can do, and start working towards it now. But we're here to put a star in the sky, so that wherever you go, whatever you do in the future, you can look up and say, tech, that's right, I heard those guys in high school, they seem like normal dudes, it's a job just like any other job, I can do that. That is possible for me.
Awesome, Nick, great point. And I think that that's really the key idea, is we're really just trying to maybe expand the vision. But I would love actually to toss it back out to you. I mean, we've been talking at you now for 30 minutes, and I can see that the message may be landing in differing ways. I'm curious, is anybody willing to share something that's resonated or a question with this panel? We can dig in as deep as you want, either on different jobs, we can get very technical. What's interesting to you?
Question is,
It's a great
And
question.
that's a softball. For me, it's working with absolutely amazing people. This is the coolest collection of people and talent that I've ever worked with. And the thing about tech and working in the tech industry is it does force you to stay on your game. We deal with brand new, game-changing, company-altering problems every single day. Every day it's sort of a circus. And what that means is it forces everybody to be smart and creative and can work together. And that's, for me, the essence of tech, is that it's always something new.
I would agree, and I think from my experience personally, I think it's just the opportunities in tech to really be great at your job no matter who you are. I mean, I really struggled a lot in school. I have ADHD, I have high functioning anxiety. I mean, school was not something that was like super easy for me, but being at Pax8, and I mean, I guess really it transcended a lot in my career of just learning to focus, learning to stay grounded, and Pax8 has really created an environment that makes the work kind of come easy for me, has made it so that my leaders can really help champion me despite, you know, some challenges that have been put in my way. And it also, in the end, helps me turn around and create programs for other employees to be able to succeed no matter who they are. It's part of the E in DEI, it's equitable. I don't expect you all to know what DEI means or really remembering another acronym, but it has really helped me take maybe a negative experience in my life and really turn it to a positive and an opportunity. Anyone else want to answer that question about their job? We can do one more.
My answer is actually written down on your computer. But the best part of my day is I get the opportunity to represent the Pax8 brand all across the state of Colorado and other states, and I get an opportunity to tell our story to people who are generally interested in the accomplishments we've made. And so I guess if I could pick the best part of my job, it's elevating the brand, and it's also celebrating the people I work with. It takes a total team effort. Even the Rural Empowerment Program cannot stand on its own. There's about 100 people behind that program that hold it up today, and we're just very proud to be able to present it. But the other best part of my job is being able to talk to minds like yours and help you see an industry that sometimes can seem a little one-sided, that there's really a breadth of opportunities for all of you.
Who else has a question? Yeah.
What does Paxate mean? Like, that's a weird word. Why is that that?
It's a good question. You want to,
Yeah,
Craig?
I'll jump in. It's a funny story that is actually born out of an entrepreneurial journey. And so John Street, and Bob could probably help me out here if I get any of this wrong here, but so John Street, our CEO and founder, this is about his 6th company, made the Inc. 500 list for different companies. And so has a lot of experience in all aspects of the business, including naming. And so when they were deciding the names of Pax8, there's a checklist of rules of picking the names of a company. Things like, don't end up paying for a domain, so pick something super unique. Words with numbers resonate better than words that don't. The letter X has a natural ability to stand out. And a bunch of these sort of very clinical things about it. And then once we got through that, and once you distilled down, they were looking for words, and at the end of the day, Pax is Latin for peace, and 8, we turn it on its sideways, is the infinity symbol, and it sort of resonates pretty well with the spirit of those here. Peace and luck.
Great question.
Good one. Yeah?
How many other companies or clients do you work with?
So individually, or Pax8?
As a company.
So as a company today, we have around 15,000 partners that we support. And so partners are those local IT professionals that are then using us to get access to this software so they can provide it to schools and dentists and whatnot. And we're adding about 300 plus of them a month. On the other side of that challenge, what we really are is we're the connective tissue between partners, 15,000, and vendors, people who want to sell software. We have around 70 vendors and 1,300 products on our line card today. 45 countries, something like 30 different languages we support today. Great question.
What benefits do you guys have?
Hey, Miles.
That's up my alley. So we do offer 100% paid health insurance. as well as for certain positions, we do offer stock incentives at the 1-year anniversary, sometimes more accelerated depending on the position, as well as an open time off policy. So who all is familiar with paid time off or vacation time? Well, we don't have that policy. So it's more so, if you need some time off, let us know and enjoy your time off. That's a huge, huge plus, especially in today's time. It can be very, very stressful. It can be, you work where you live, so it's hard to really release that and really keep those boundaries, especially when you're working at home. It's like, it's always hard for me to walk away from my computer and be like, I'm not working. So, you know, that time off policy is huge. And then we just have a ton of growth potential. The great thing about, and kind of Craig alluded to, is we don't know what we don't know. So in 6 months, there may be a whole new department that's growing, and you may be very talented at something that speaks directly to that. You've now gotten a promotion. You've now moved into a new position. So we really, really take pride in being able to grow our own people, almost like in-house farm growth type of thing. So those are what we would consider our benefits, as well as we have some other perks and things that are more kind of side perks. But
Can I just add to that? I don't know if you can tell by my gray hair, but I'm the old guy here. I've been doing this for a while. I worked for a lot of tech companies. This by far is the best company I've ever worked for in my life. A lot of people in the community think I've actually joined a cult. I talk about work because I'm trying to recruit. Everybody I love, if they can be involved with this organization, I'm really passionate about it, and you should really take a look at it. This is the best company on the face of the planet.
absolutely.
Just to put into context what open vacation time means. You know how y'all have spring break or winter break and things like that? When you're an adult, that gets taken away unless you work as like a teacher or within a school. Here, I take a week off every year. It's something where if you can get a job with open PTO or flexible vacation, let's say that, flexible vacation time, that's something that I have learned a lot in my career, and I guess that's advice that I will give you as you start looking for jobs. Look for that vacation time. You will absolutely miss it when you are out of school. Actually, while we're on the topic of that, what would you all give advice to, if picture yourself as 14 out there. What advice would you give yourself?
That's so great. The young man in the back made me think about it. I was an athlete in high school, didn't really care about school, didn't care about my grades. Work hard now. that would be because I had to kind of play from behind. Maybe I'm really good at that. I came up in the clutch, whatever you want to say. But I had to work a lot harder in my early college years to just kind of make it even. And I would say, if you start out with the mentality of, you know what, I'm gonna rock it right now. I'm gonna rock it right now. Spend your time studying, spend some time studying, and go out and play after. It pays off 100% because it gives you a lot more opportunities once you step out of these doors, because you're not gonna be here forever. And that's kind of the thing I would give my younger self is, hey, do it now. And now I'm living an excellent life. I'm living my dreams, but I had to work my butt off to just get back to even. So that's what I would say.
I would add anything that you're interested in, reading-wise, read about it. Don't think, for instance, the idea of like, well, I don't care about tech, I'm not going to read this article. Hey, you might be interested.
As Justin just talked about here, embrace the failure. Embrace the struggle. When you don't know what you're doing, that's okay. Nobody else does either. Right? Just work on it, fight, study, figure out how to get through today. Being successful and experienced just means you Google a little faster than the person next to you.
Well said. Those Google speeds are.
Yeah, I Google at least 30, 40, 50 times a day. don't feel bad about it.
Is that the working mic or is it the not working?
It's working, it's working. Also, something that we meant to mention earlier today is that we have brought 3 computers with us. They're Microsoft Surface Laptop Go's. And based on the assignment that you guys are all working on, the teachers will be handing these out on Monday, is my understanding. So we are donating 3 to the class of freshmen, and they come with 36 months of Microsoft services to kind of get you through to the next stage of your life. So it's our hope that whoever wins them really enjoys our gifts. And like I said, your teachers will take care of getting you all registered and all that.
Actually, that's pretty cool, free computer. What other questions do you all have for us? Yeah.
What kind of school was required?
That's a good question. I feel like there's a variety of required schooling.
That is
For mine,
position dependent. I think
Yeah.
Very position dependent. I'm a lifelong learner. I think everybody here can, really agree to everybody being that. There's never too much. If I can tell you anything, there's never too much. If it's there to be learned, learn it, because nobody can take that away from you. And if I see that you're equal with somebody that also applied, but you have another degree, you're gonna be the first person I call. Just because that tells me you have the ability to think, you have the ability to learn, you have the ability to grow, and you've taken that next step. So it is position dependent, really, sometimes. So that's a hard question to answer, but great question.
The other thing I was going to toss out there too is, in addition to degrees, the educational universe is changing a little bit, and we're often becoming much more certification driven. So ways to enhance the 4-year degree you have. Go to Microsoft and get specialized certifications about individual products, or ways to sell those products, or ways to support those products. Go get your security certifications. I know Justin's collected a half a dozen of these, or so it feels like, in the last year.
Yeah, I have my A+, and I got that before I joined Pax8, and literally last week I got my Security Plus certification through CompTIA. So, yeah, and those tests are hard, I will give you that. I failed it the first time, but luckily I kept going and I got my certification. But yeah, Amazon, there's certifications for Amazon, there's certifications for Microsoft, there's the CompTIA, which is a whole smorgasbord of different types of certifications. Technically, truth be told, my certifications will get me farther than my degrees degrade me. So there's nothing wrong with bucking the trend of, I don't go get your 4-year degree. It's no, go get a couple certifications. A lot of companies in tech, overall, if you want to go that route, they would rather you have those certifications than the bachelor's degree and things like that. So yeah, most definitely.
great question. Who else has one? Oh, wow, we have 2. We'll go back and then front.
So you guys are saying a lot about certifications and degrees, and you said that you would pick the degree over anything else. Do you guys go off of, okay, how do I say this? Would you guys go for experience, if someone had more experience than going for more degrees?
So I'm going to let Miles answer the second part of that question, but I am going to say this part about the first part of the question. Technically, if you look at the career path, that's the low-hanging fruit for all of you, that's closest to you. It's kind of a progression of career and developmental education through the PTECH program. And then once you go to the PTECH program, sometimes involvement in that, which I think the deadline was December 1st, allows you a relationship with Pueblo Community College to get some early training, and that can be cert-based. But now I'll let Miles explain the other piece.
Yeah, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. There's no one formula. That's probably the biggest thing, and that is why I'm really good at what I do, is being able to take, okay, this person has this, this, and this, and this person has this, this, and this, but look at their personalities. There's a lot of things. I really oversimplified that. It is, experience does play a huge part. And it's kind of that sometimes you're like, well, this position says entry level, but I need 5 years of experience. You know, the market is kind of setting itself straight on that, where entry level is truly entry level. I might not have any experience, and experience is the greatest way to do it. But if you get anything out of what I'm kind of saying is, and what we're all saying is, there's no straight way. I've tried it. I've tried to find the elevator. I've tried to find the escalator. Sometimes you got to take the stairs. Sometimes you got to go out of the building and come back up and go around. But what we are saying is, with the reading, with the research, with all of that, continue to press and push yourself in all of those ways, and you'll become more of a dynamic individual in the workforce. So you'll have the experience. You'll have the certifications needed. You'll have the degrees if that's what you aspire to. You know, does that make sense?
If I could just tack on just a little bit here, and all these are 100% the right take. What you're getting here, I think some of the confusion is you're getting people in different stages who are talking about different roles, different places. But to dig right into your question, what do you do before you have that experience, right? So yes, experience versus degree is a great question, but there's a period of time before you have any of that. And those degrees, those certifications, those give you evidence of competency. And so that will dramatically increase your chances to get that first job. Maybe when you've been doing it for 15, 20 years, the degree may be less pressing, but unquestionably having those things that you can point to that help you get through those first scans, get you through that door, and that's going to be formal education, going to be certifications, things like that are going to help you in that first one.
I would even say just a customer service job that you get at the end of high school or beginning of college will really help kind of prepare you and set you apart from, like, that's just experience right there. Even if you're going into a tech job and you're, you know, oh, I was a cashier at Circle K, like, what does that do for that? It shows that you're able to hold a job and work with people and have that responsibility. But since we are coming close to the end of this block, I will take that last question. Yeah. How many companies does Paxate work with?
So I'm sorry, a little closer, I apologize, gang. So today we work with about 15,000 MSPs, service provider partners, and at the other end, it's about 70 vendors that are selling software through us.
Where were we about 2 years ago?
Well, I can tell you, and go back further. So when I started, we had one vendor that nobody wanted. And so that was an interesting pitch where partners would not join us until we got more vendors, and vendors wouldn't come to us until we had more partners. But very quickly we had, I think, 2 or 3 vendors and probably 2,000 partners in 2017. So it's been exploding, about 300 to 400 partners a month sign up at Paxate. Awesome. I think that's our time. Great questions, everybody. Thank you so much. We really appreciate having your time today.
One bag.
One bag. Tell them thank you. They brought you goodies. They're giving you great computers. They talked to you.
I gotta go talk to mom.
Do not leave this room until the bell rings.